top stories. Prime Minister Harris to preside over annual budget estimates committee meetings this week. Jamaica receiving CARFA funding for COVAX vaccine, and France rallies in support of slain teacher. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Monday, October 19th, 2020. I am your presenter, Shaira Flanders. Nationally, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, and his cabinet are to meet with senior officials of government this week for the annual Budget Estimates Committee meetings that will chart the way forward for 2021. The meetings are scheduled to run from Monday, October 19th to Thursday, October 22nd at the Ministry of Finance Conference Room. The Budget Estimates Committee meetings set the slate for development of the annual estimates and expenditure to guide the affairs of St. Kitts and Nevis. The annual budget exercise is a requirement of law stipulated in the Finance Administration Act that promotes good governance. This year's budget estimates are being formulated in the context of COVID-19, which has devastated many countries and led to millions of persons losing their lives globally. To date, all COVID-19 cases in the Federation are fully recovered and there have been no deaths. In other news, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris will be headlining the 25th edition of Leadership Matters, the government's virtual forum series, on Tuesday, October 20th, 2020. Joining the Honorable Prime Minister on the panel to answer questions of the listening public will be Accountant General for the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis, Mr. Levi Bratcher. The focus of discussion will be the national budget. The virtual forum airs from 8 to 10 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, 96.1 FM, TV Channel 5, and all ZIZ social media platforms. The call-in numbers are 466-2666, 662 8674, 767 4765, and 1-239-645-4500. Questions can also be sent via WhatsApp to 869-661-5683. And as we wrap up local news, to combat an outbreak of mosquito-borne diseases, the Ministry of Health has informed that fogging in the various communities will be taking place this week. The fogging for mosquito control begins today, Monday, October 19th, in Shadwell, New Road, Gillard's Meadows, and Monkey Hill. On Tuesday, October 20th, the fogging heads to McKnight, St. Johnson's, The Village, Lagreet, and Buckley's. Then on Wednesday, October 21st, fogging will take place in Limekeen, Camps, Ocean Garden, and Mattingly Heights. Additionally, the fogging exercise would continue in Boyd's, West Farm, Challengers, and Stonefort on Thursday, October 22nd. Then Old Road, Virchilds, Middle Island, and Lamberts on Friday, October 23rd. In a statement released on Sunday, the Ministry of Health advised householders to, quote, dispose of stored water and keep water containers closed or covered in order to prevent mosquito breeding, end quote. Persons have also been asked to keep windows and doors open during the exercise to allow the fog to pass through the home and get rid of adult mosquitoes. The ministry has also asked that persons with sinus or respiratory illnesses like asthma are advised to leave their homes before the exercise and avoid being in close proximity to the fog where possible. The fogging exercise is scheduled to begin at 6 p.m. each day. We now move on to news on the regional scene. Jamaica is another member state of the Caribbean Public Health Agency, or CARFA, receiving help with the down payment of COVAX vaccines when they become available to immunize 20% of the population. Here's more in this report.
As deaths from COVID-19 surpass 1 million worldwide and over 4,000 reported in 33 territories of the Caribbean, the growing need for a vaccine to prevent illness and death has become painfully evident. In light of this, the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARFA, with funding from the European Union, has entered into an agreement with the Pan American Health Organization as an implementing partner to support member states' participation in COVAX facility through assistance with the required down payment for vaccines when they become available.
We have been able to support Antigua, Barbados, BVI, Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and Turks and Caicos Islands with 100% of the down payment required for the COVAX facility.
St. John said once a down payment has been made through CARFA or a loan elsewhere, these countries would have made arrangements for full payments. Dr. Jarbas Barbosa, Assistant Director of the Pan American Health Organization, says the best way to mitigate the spread of the virus is to develop a vaccine effective enough to protect those who are most at risk. He says there are almost 200 vaccine candidates who are proposing a vaccine. Barbosa says it is the hope of the medical community that one or more of those vaccines will be effective and safe for use.
The main objective of COVAX is to have around a volume of doses that correspond to 20% of the population. And why 20%? Because probably within this 20%, we have all the healthcare workers and other frontline workers, and the other 17% are people with 60 years and more, other adults with underlying conditions.
Paige Dixon, CVM Live.
In Barbados, police are investigating a report of an alleged unnatural death which occurred at a residence at Lower Bridge Gap, Cavehill, St. Michael on Sunday, 18th October. According to reports, just before 6:30 a.m., the body of a man in his 40s was found in the backyard of a residence with a number of wounds. Ambulance personnel responded and reported that there was no sign of life upon arrival. The police have not yet identified the deceased. We now move on to news on the international scene. Rallies have taken place across France in support of Samuel Paty, a school teacher who was beheaded after showing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad during a lesson about freedom of speech. Al Jazeera's Neve Bakker reports on that story.
This is where Paris comes to defend what some see as French values. Thousands gathered at the Place de la République in solidarity with Samuel Paty, a history teacher brutally killed in a quiet Paris suburb.
We're here to defend the Republic, the values of the Republic, liberty, equality, fraternity and secularism. We can feel that the fatherland is threatened, that those values are under threat.
The murder suspect, named as Abdullah A, was shot dead by police on Friday close to Samuel Paty's school. He was an 18-year-old born in Moscow of Chechen origin and had no apparent connection with the teacher or the school. Investigators say he stalked the area before following the teacher, whom he stabbed and then decapitated with a knife. An 11th person's been arrested as part of the investigation. Earlier this month, Paty had shown his students cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad in a lesson on freedom of expression. The caricatures were first published by the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, which led to a wave of attacks in Paris in 2015. It's believed the lesson angered a number of Muslim parents. Activists say the authorities had been warned about the killer but had failed to act.
The person who committed this horrendous, unspeakable, unfathomable crime had been reported multiple times on social media because he was already displaying signs that he was about to commit something, and many of the people who reported him were Muslims. And to quote someone in the French media, only Muslims can report someone who pretends to be one of theirs.
A moment of unity in the face of a brutal crime. The French government's promised a zero-tolerance approach with tighter financial controls on religious, cultural and sporting associations. But the killing's a reminder of fault lines in French society, weeks after President Emmanuel Macron controversially described Islam as a religion in crisis while defending the country's secular values.
Dans cet islamisme radical.
The murder has shocked the nation, focusing the spotlight, once again, on tensions successive French governments have struggled to resolve. Neve Bakker, Al Jazeera.
CVS and Walgreens have partnered with the U.S. government to distribute COVID-19 vaccinations to long-term care facilities at no cost. Here's more in this report.
The Trump administration announced a deal between CVS and Walgreens to provide COVID vaccinations to nursing homes, with the federal government paying part of the cost. Details of that plan were released late Friday.
These two players have been doing this for a while in terms of their mobile units. They have and demonstrated the ability from an IT perspective, from a training and personnel perspective, from an asset perspective, and we thought they would be our two best partners based on that.
Walgreens and CVS have agreed to coordinate with long-term living facilities. The government assumes each resident will need 2 doses over 2 months.
In our arrangement with these two players, they are prohibited from charging for the vaccine itself or for distribution. They will be permitted to bill the appropriate insurer or Medicare for the rates that have been established by those respective payers.
CVS and Walgreens staff will administer the vaccinations on site inside the facilities. The companies will report data on when vaccinations are done.
We are not imposing this solution on any nursing home. This is voluntary. They have to opt in. This is an adjunct to what other solutions may be, but this will be something that will be available to every nursing home and senior living facility in the country.
Nursing home facilities can sign up through the CDC website, and they can start as early as Monday. Therese Garnier, Newsy, Maryland.
And now for the weather. Present weather is fair. Current temperature is 26 degrees Celsius. That's 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are moving westerly with speeds less than 12 miles per hour, becoming variable or calm in most places tonight. Weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis predicts sunny to partly sunny skies today with a 20% or a slight chance of brief localized afternoon showers. Tonight will be mostly fair. Sunset today will be at 5:46 p.m. and the sun is expected to rise tomorrow at 6:05 a.m. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your presenter, Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.